Hello everyone, welcome back to the tutorials again. So today we are going to discuss about design of concrete structures 2. So in that module number 2 we are going to discuss. So you can see in previous session we have studied about IS code provisions for design of column. In that we have studied about longitudinal reinforcement. So we have studied about minimum and maximum amount of reinforcement. So minimum is 0.8% of cross sectional area, maximum is 4% of cross sectional area, but it should not exceed 6% when the bars are in lapping condition. Okay. So after that we have studied minimum 4 number of bars should be there in rectangular section and minimum 6 number of bars should be there in circular section. So minimum diameter of longitudinal bar should be 12 mm for columns. So that's what we have studied. So after that in transverse reinforcement we have studied that the pitch should be minimum of pitch is nothing but distance between two rings or two transverse reinforcements or two lateral ties. So whatever the name we can call, you can call it. So you can see pitch should be minimum of the three values, that is least lateral dimension of compression member. So least lateral dimension means either width or depth, whichever is least we have to take that. 16 times the smallest diameter of longitudinal bars, so or else it should be 300 mm. So minimum of these three we have to take for pitch of the lateral ties. So diameter of the lateral ties should not be less than 1/4 of largest longitudinal diameter of the bar. Okay, or else it should be minimum 6 mm. Okay, so assumptions made in design of compression member we have studied, that is maximum compressive strain in concrete in axial compression member is taken as 0.002. So maximum compression strain at highly compressed extreme fibers in a concrete subjected to axial compression and bending when there is no tension which is acting, we have to take as 0.003 minus 0.75 times strain at least compressed extreme fiber. So this is when the column is subjected to axial compression and bending. This is when the column is only subjected to axial compression. So minimum eccentricity is given like this. So you can see this is a minimum eccentricity. So minimum eccentricity we have to consider to avoid the practical mistakes or construction mistakes, or else accidents. In accidentally we are giving some eccentricity while loading the columns or while placing the columns. So to avoid that we have to consider the minimum eccentricity and we have to design the column. So minimum eccentricity is minimum of these two things. So in x-axis also, in y-axis also, we have to find out the eccentricity. Now today's important part which I would like to explain is governing equations for short axially loaded tied column. So column is called as short when the slenderness ratio, that means uh, slenderness ratio effective length divided by least lateral dimension should be less than 12, then it is called a short column. Now what is the procedure to design axially loaded short column? So factored concentrated load applied on short tied column is resisted by concrete of area AC and longitudinal steel having area ASC. That means area of concrete is AC, area of steel is ASC. So area of compression steel, that means. So this is area of concrete. Now assuming the design strength of concrete and steel are 0.4 FCK and 0.067 FY respectively, we can write the equation as you can see. Maximum factored load which can be taken by a column is given by 0.4 FCK into AC. So FCK is AC into AC plus 0.67 FY into ASC, where PU is factored axial load on a member, FCK is characteristic compressive strength of a concrete, AC is area of concrete, Fy is characteristic strength of compression reinforcement, and ASC is area of longitudinal reinforcement for a column. So in above equation is given in clause number 39.3 IS 456. So you can see it is given in clause number 39.3 IS 456. So this is the same equation which I have copied out over there. Okay. So in case of compression member having helical reinforcement, means in case of circular reinforcement, the strength of compression member with helical reinforcement satisfying the requirements of 39.4.1. So this is a requirement, it is to be satisfied. Shall be taken as 1.05 times the strength of similar member with lateral ties. So if we multiply it with 1.05, then we are going to get the strength of the compression member which is having helical reinforcement, means circular column. Okay, so it should satisfy this particular condition. So what this particular para says, if I want to calculate the strength of helical reinforced section, that is circular section, so if that circular section satisfies this particular condition, then the strength is taken as, directly we have to use this equation and we have to multiply it with 1.05 times, then we are going to get the strength. That means helical reinforced member is having a little more capacity than regular tied member. Okay, so this is what they say. Similarly, you can see I am talking about axially loaded column, so I'll restrict this discussion to axially loaded column only. Later on we will study about axially loaded column with uniaxial movement and axial loaded column with biaxial movement. Later on in next sessions we are going to study that. So further you can see the above equation is given in this clause has two unknowns in this. So you can see if I tell you that let us design a column which is needed to carry some 1500 kilonewton of factor load, then there are two unknowns, that is area of steel and area of concrete. So that's what two unknowns are there, AC and ASC. I can design it in one manner that we can assume AC means section breadth and depth we can assume, and later on we can find out ASC. Or else if we need both for economical section, what we can do is we can rearrange this equation in terms of gross area, that is AG. AG means it is the combination of AC plus ASC, means area of concrete plus area of steel. So you can see AG is cross sectional area of concrete and steel, percentage of compression reinforcement employing. So you can see I can write it in this manner. So AG is ASC, area of steel, is equal to percentage of steel into cross sectional area. So this percentage of steel divided by 100 if I do, I am going to get it in fraction, into cross sectional area if I do, I can say that it is the total area of steel which we are getting. So I can write this ASC in the form of percentage of steel and cross sectional area. Similarly, I can write AC in this manner. So after if I do 1 minus percentage of steel, I am going to get in 100%. If I remove the percentage of steel, rest other thing is percentage of concrete. So same logic we have followed over here. So 1 minus P I have done divided by 100 into cross sectional area. It is going to give us area of concrete. So substituting in place of ASC, I am substituting this particular equation, and in case of AC I am substituting this equation. So what I am going to do over here is, you can see PU divided by AG. So I am going to divide this entire, I am substituting these two values and I am dividing entire equation by cross sectional area. So then I am going to get this particular equation. So this particular equation I am going to get, sorry I forgot to put a bracket over here. So this particular equation I am going to get, so which is shown over here. So you can see, so this particular equation is used to find out cross sectional area. So either we can solve by assuming the area of concrete, that is breadth and depth, or else we can solve it in this manner by using this particular equation. So remember, in these all equations we need to follow a very common thing, that is minimum reinforcement, maximum reinforcement, minimum diameter of a bars, as well as all the code provisions which are given. So we must and should follow those rules, and we have to design a column. Now there are two types of problems. One is analytical problems, analysis type of problem, and design type of problem. So you can see over here, design the reinforcement in a column of size 400 mm into 600 mm, means gross sectional area they have already given over here, is subjected to an axial load of 2000 kilonewton under service load and live load. The column has unsupported length, means small l they have given. Unsupported length is different, and this one effective length is different. So unsupported length they have given, that is 4.0 meter, effectively held in position and restrained against rotation. This point we have to note. So underline this point if you want. In both the ends, so restrained at both the ends, use M25 grade of concrete and Fe415 steel they have given. So you can see we need to design the reinforcement over here. In some cases what they are going to do, they are going to give the area of concrete, they are going to give the area of steel. They ask us to find out the maximum load that can be bared by that particular problem. So that is called as analysis type of problem. So this is design type of problem. So I will write the given data. You can see given small l is equal to 4000 mm, that is 4 meter is equal to 4000 mm. Breadth they have given as 400 mm. Depth they have given as 600 mm. So from table number 28 of IS 456, LEX and LEY is equal to 0.65 L. So what is this table number 28? What is LEX and what is LEY? You can see over here. So table number 28 I am going to open. So table number 28 you can see. So what they said is effectively held in position and restrained against rotation in both the ends. You have to mark this point. So you can read the degree of end restrained over here. End restrained. So in problem what they have given? So in problem they mentioned that this particular column, the column has an unsupported length of 4 meter and effectively held in position and restrained against the rotation at both the ends. So same case is there. So this is a case number 1. So symbol is like this, theoretical value of effective length, recommended value of effective length. So we have to take the recommended value, that is 0.65 L. That is nothing but LEX and LEY. So these are effective lengths. So effective length is equal to 0.65 L. So that is going to give us 0.65 into 4000. That is going to give us 2600 mm. So again what we have to see is it a short column or long column? If it is a short column, then and then only these all the formulas are applicable. Procedure for designing the long column is different. In your syllabus only short column is mentioned specifically. That is why we are only going to concentrate on short columns. So you can see over here step number 1 we have completed. Then we are going to check either it is a short column or long column. So what is the criteria for short column? Short column is when the effective length divided by least lateral dimension is going to give us the value which is less than 12. So LE by least lateral dimension is equal to the value which we are going to obtain should be less than 12. So that means effective length divided by least lateral dimension should be less than 12. Then and then only the column is called as short column. So again we are going to confirm it, LEX divided by D. So in X direction we are going to consider as a depth. In Y direction we are going to consider as a breadth. So it depends upon you. So in x direction you can see LEX divided by D, that is 2600 divided by 600, so 4.33, it is less than 12. So LEY divided by B, 2600 divided by 400 is equal to 6.5, which is less than 12. So in both the cases the slenderness ratio, that is effective length divided by dimension, is less than 12, hence we can say that it is short column. So we have said that it is a short column. Next you can see step number 2, minimum eccentricity. So we have to consider the minimum eccentricity while designing. So E minimum is equal to E eccentricity in x direction, so greater of LEX divided by 500 plus D divided by 30 and 20 mm. So you can see LEX divided by 500, if I do, LEX is 2600 divided by 500 plus D is 600 divided by 30, if I do, I am going to get 25.2. So and 20 mm. So greater of these two will be 25.2 mm. Similarly, you can see if I do it in this manner, in y direction, greater of LEY, that is 2600 divided by 500 plus B divided by 30 and 20 mm if I consider, maximum in this case will be 20, so I am considering 20 over here. So remember, in any of the case the eccentricity should not cross 0.05 times D, so that we have to take care. So 0.05 times D or 0.05 times least lateral dimension I can call. So in x direction I can consider D, in y direction I can consider B. So same way you have to follow, in x direction you have considered D, in y direction you have considered B. Similarly, x direction D here also, y direction B here also you have considered. In same manner I am considering. So 0.05 into 600 if I consider, it is 30 mm, and obtained minimum eccentricity is less than the this value. So hence the equation in clause number 39.3 IS 456 is applicable for design over here. So this is very important point which you have to note. So whenever this condition is going to satisfy, whenever this condition is going to satisfy, at that case only the equation given in clause 39.3 page number 70 is applicable. So page number 70 I am going to open and I am going to show you that particular clause. So you can see over here, when the minimum eccentricity as per 25.4 means that equation does not exceed 0.05 times lateral dimension, the member may be designed by following equation. So this equation is only applicable when this condition satisfies. So that is what we have checked here. So this condition satisfies, that is why that particular equation is applicable. Next you can see step number 3, area of steel. So area of steel we are going to calculate by using this particular equation. So directly I am going to use this equation because area of concrete they have given. I am not going to use this equation. I am directly going to use this equation because AC is given over here, PU is also given, only unknown is ASC. So same way I am using this particular equation, that is ASC. So 300 into 10 to the power 3. So it is the value which is given over here. You can see axial load of 2000 kilonewton under service condition they have given. So we have to, this is service load, we have to factor it with factor it by multiplying it with 1.5. So that is going to give us factored load. So 2000 into 1.5 is going to give us 3000. So 3000 is a ultimate load. So 3000 into 10 to the power 3 is equal to, so 0.4 in equation I am going to keep as it is. FCK is 25, that is grade of concrete. AC is area of concrete, that is 400 into 600 minus area of steel I have to do, remember this. So minus ASC we have to do because 400 into 600 is lateral dimension which is going to give us the gross sectional area. So gross sectional area minus area of steel is going to give us area of concrete. So this point you have to remember very carefully, plus 0.67 into 415 is a grade of steel, that is Fy, and the area of steel I am going to keep as it is. So ASC is equal to 2238.39 mm square I am going to get. Now you can see provide 620 mm diameter bars and 216 mm diameter rods, giving is going to give us 2287 mm square, which is greater than required. So P is percentage of steel is 0.953. How you are going to calculate this percentage of steel? So area of steel divided by gross sectional area is going to give us percentage of steel, so which is uh, also more than minimum percentage, that is minimum is 0.8, and also less than maximum percentage, that is 4.0. Hence the provided area is okay. Okay, so further you can see lateral ties, step number 4. So transverse reinforcement or lateral ties are determined from clause number 26.5.3.2 section 2 of IS 456. So as per this, the diameter of transverse reinforcement should not be less than uh, theta divided by 4 or else 6 mm. Hence theta is here, theta is larger diameter of longitudinal bar used, which is 20 mm. So you can see 20 mm we have used. So 20 divided by 4 is 5 mm, and second case is 6 mm. So minimum 6 mm we have to use. So diameter of bars used is 6 mm. The pitch of lateral ties as per clause number 26.5.3.2 section 1 of IS 456 should not be more than least of this. So least lateral dimension, that is 400 mm, 600 and 400 is there, least is 400, 16 times the smallest diameter of longitudinal reinforcement used. So 16 into, you can see 20 mm diameter we have used as a longitudinal bar, 16 mm diameter we have used as a longitudinal bar. So 16 into 16 is going to give us 226 mm, and third one is 300 mm. So minimum of these three we have to use as a pitch. So IS 456, according to IS 456, we are going to use the pitch as 256 mm. So 6 mm diameter we are going to use, and 250 mm pitch we can use for this. So reinforcement detailing is like this. So you can see all 620 mm dia bars are given at periphery, 16 mm dia bars are given at the center. So moment of resistance of this particular section will be depending upon the distance of steel from the center. So moment of resistance means, you can see area of steel into distance, so it is going to give us moment of resistance. So what is that moment of resistance? How we have to place the bars? What is the detailing method for this particular column detailing? We are going to study in next session. So hope you have understood about this problem. So you can go through this problem. If you have any queries, you can raise. So in next session we are going to study about detailing of reinforcement and another few examples. Thank you.